I never looked at it like I was a person who had experienced domestic violence. I just thought I was a chick who got beat up sometimes.
This had been going on for years, and I didn't connect it. And I realized that he's done that, he's doing that now.
Unfortunately, because of my past and my childhood, I found myself in that cycle of finding what was normal to me, which was violence.
Sometimes we believe the lie that we're told, growing up, that you stay in a relationship that's abusive because you don't tell nobody your secrets.
I can, even though I've been through what I've been through, I can have an amazing life.
We're all on a journey, and we're all experiencing different things and working through them. Well, hello, you guys. It's wonderful to be here with all of you, such a powerful, beautiful group of women. We're here today to talk about the intersection of HIV and intimate partner violence, or IPV, and how it affects women. Despite the fact that these issues are affecting many women, and they're often connected, these issues are not discussed. So we want to start with a big picture. Gina, can you just provide a snapshot for us of the issues and what's going on?
The 300,000 women who are living with HIV, half of us have or are currently experiencing intimate partner violence in some form. That can be physical, emotional, psychological, and it's something we don't talk about, you know. IPV impacts HIV in a way that it can either drive the epidemic by when we're with these men who are abusive and they don't want to use condoms, or it can impact our health in a way that they don't want us to go to the doctor. Right. We're in the depression. If you're depressed already, you don't feel good.
Right. To even have that conversation about using a condom, because, then that would mean that he's doing something wrong, and I don't want to risk getting beat that day. So yeah, I might put up with some of that stuff. I might put up with, him doing what he does just for the safety of myself and my children.
I know for me personally, I didn't even identify with being in a violent relationship because I thought that was right. I never looked at unhealthy relationship and saw myself.
Yeah, I felt it was normal as well. See, that's all you know, that's all that's happened to you, that when you do become positive and and it's reinforced through the people that, again, that you're dating, saying, well, be lucky that I'm with you. And I'm thinking well, some love is better than no love at all. So I'm willing to accept that kind of love, no matter how much I see that it's not good for me.
People want to separate those of us living with HIV as if we've deserve what we have.
As if you've done something wrong.
Exactly. It is an illness that it's treatable and we can live a normal lifespan, and none of us did. And it doesn't change any of our worth at all.
The more that we show our faces, the more that we humanize this condition of HIV, and maybe we could empower other women to see that this can affect them, and it is affecting them, communities of color especially.
The highest population of HIV-positive women are Black women, and we are not that big of a population to start with, and it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart because HIV is preventable.
I believe the Latino community is second as well, communities of color, and this is a huge problem.
HIV didn't speak to me. Back then it was just, I assumed it was a white gay man's disease and that Black folks didn't get it.
I often tell people HIV doesn't care how much money you have in your bank account or what your zip code is. HIV is a disease of opportunity. And as women, we often give it the opportunity to come in, and the dynamics switch even more when there's intimate partner violence involved in that. We know that the person may have said, we may have asked the person to wear a condom, and because of that power dynamic in that relationship, they said no, and we let it go.
Or we're afraid.
And to that point, how does that impact your health and your getting treatment?
When you're in these abusive relationships, you are stressed and you are depressed and your T cells go down, your immune system goes down. And I said to myself, why, if I am very adherent now to my medication, why are my T cells always so low? And that's because of the stress and the depression.
You know, I can remember days when I wouldn't even eat. I was so depressed.
Exactly.
And how can you take your meds if you don't eat?
Intimate partner violence took my dignity away from me, you know, my self-respect. I was afraid to take my medication because on some level, if he saw me taking it, that it was a reminder for him. When I moved away from that relationship, well, actually I took off running. But, you know, I started to treat myself better, and I started to take the medications and started to become educated about it.
And I think we're sometimes predisposed to this by the simple fact that some of us have experienced some childhood trauma.
Exactly.
And we did not get help for that trauma.
I feel like, you know, from what I understand about all of you all, so at some point in your young life, you experience some sort of abuse or violence around you.
Everything starts from, as everyone says, from their childhood. It has impacted me, and even though I try to always be composed and be the strong woman, because a lot of people see me as an example, I need help, and I'm still going through it, and I have to show this side, because I never do.
I didn't really connect it when I got older and found myself being very submissive in every relationship. Like, oh, I have to listen to you. That's my role. That's what women do. My father's in prison because the next person he was with, he ended up killing that woman. And I think about that all the time. That could have been my mother. That could have been my mother. And it could be me because I went and got the same kind of relationship. It could be my daughter because I chose the same type of relationship.
We're looking at it from a trauma-related approach. You know, if you don't deal with your stuff, it is more likely you can receive an HIV diagnosis along the line if you don't deal with what's going on. And I tell any women that I work with in the substance abuse community, deal with your stuff. Because that hurt little girl is going to make every single decision in your life, and she's going to make it from the place of hurt and pain. And it's not that she wants to, it's all that she knows.
So how do we get past the shame?
It's starting that conversation. It needs to happen in homes and in the community and on a national level so that everybody feels more comfortable having that conversation, and to begin to have that conversation and know that living with HIV is nothing to be ashamed of.
I came from a community where you didn't seek help because you're not crazy. Well, you know what? I have a therapist because I'm going to take care of me. It's about me being healthy. It's about me being well and me getting what I need out of all of this.
Gina, how did you get to that point? How did you get to the point where you realized you needed that help and you were able to get it?
I'd hit rock bottom. I was holding my baby in my arms, and I was into it with her dad, my children's father, and he cocked back to hit me with this baby in my arms. And I knew I had to leave him at that point, but I started thinking that this pain is just too much for me. I can't do this. We have this thing where we all think we have to be so strong, so we wipe the tears away, or we stuff them down, and then we get to a point where we break. Something is gonna break you eventually, and then you break. I broke, and I said, I can't do this by myself. I need help. It was a process. It didn't happen overnight, and that's what I want people to understand, that number one, we gotta stop saying what goes on in this house stays in this house. We gotta stop giving those messages that reinforce the silence. Yeah. We have to stop that. Number two, if you are experiencing any kind of trauma, any kind of abuse, reach out to people. People are there. Number three, learn to love you. we all, because we were molested and we had low self-esteem and we didn't really know how to deal, it was hard for us to love ourselves, you know.
Sometimes it still is hard.
It still is. Sometimes I look in the mirror and I do not like what I see. And other times I look in the mirror and I'm like, what?
Just like she said, you know, I had to have the tools, and I was willing to be vulnerable to go out and seek it. And that's exactly what I did. To realize that all those years, that I was not what people told me I was. That I was not this bad girl, but I was a girl who just wanted to be loved. That allowed me to begin to love me and start the process of looking for information and tools to equip me to begin to live a life that is happy, joyous, and free. Free from the stigma of what society's placed on me, of what people has placed on me, and even what the stigma I have placed on myself.
And it's changing the voices in your head, because when you're repeatedly told that you're stupid, that you're no good, you begin to repeat that in your head, and it's changing that language and being able to replace that with a positive message for yourself. And that's a long process, and you need help doing that. You need a good therapist. You need a good behavioral therapist that's going to address those issues for you.
There was a time in my life where I got tired of being tired, and I took the power back, and I said, I'm going to break the cycle.
It's tiring to carry all of that baggage day in and day out. You have to drop those bags, and you'll feel so free. Find somebody you can talk to. A lot of times it's easier to talk to a stranger than to the people we know.
Absolutely.
So do that, reach out.
We have all made it out, and then I found that there is life outside of this diagnosis. It was just waiting for me to find it.
My understanding is that often when you're at that point, when you're ready to leave, that's the riskiest time when you're ready to leave. Are there resources to help women figure out how to get out of that situation?
There are agencies that specialize in helping people deal with intimate partner violence and get out of an intimate partner violence situation.
The first step is recognizing that the situation is not okay. There were 2 separate relationships that I ended up in with violence. One of them, it was a pretty fresh relationship where I ended up being physically beaten. And at that moment, while that was happening, I had to act right then and there, because I knew if I gave him a chance to say, I'm sorry, if I gave him the chance to say, I didn't mean to do it, I just lost my temper. If I gave him a chance to try to explain himself, then I would probably still be there today. And I made sure I had backing to help me. Like, my backbone wasn't strong enough on my own. So I had to get those people behind me to tell me, you do this, you can do this.
I waited till he went to work. I acted like nothing was going on. I cooked, I was washing clothes, I was cleaning the house and everything. By the time, and I knew, his time schedule, when he was gonna be home and what he had to do. And as soon as he hit that door, I waited for an hour and I got out, and I ain't looked back. Baby, I was on the plane. I don't know what you I left. When I left, I left.
It can be really difficult to trust new relationships after you've experienced intimate partner violence, but you can have really great relationships after the fact. And I know both Vicki and Michelle, you guys are you're in a long-term relationship. How long?
11 years.
11 years. And Michelle, you're a newlywed.
I'm newlywed for 2 months. We met in class, and I thought he was just a fine specimen of a man. And so he was pretty much educated on HIV, but he understood the stigma. In our first phone conversation, I told him that I was HIV positive. I didn't want him not to have that information. I didn't want him to ever have to go through what I went through. And so I was at a comfortable place of being able to disclose my status to him. And he got real quiet and he said, and did you think that was going to scare me off? Right? and then second, he told me that from that moment on that he knew that he was in love with me because he could trust me.
All right.
He knows a good thing.
That's
when
right,
he sees
baby.
it.
That's right.
You just touched on, you were talking about disclosure, and disclosing one's HIV status can be dangerous for some people. Gina, do you have some basic thoughts or facts on how one should go about disclosing?
So it's ways you can disclose, you know. Role play is great with your friends, you know, like you pretend like you're the person I'm disclosing to, because you have to be able to say it. Then I often tell people it's how you react to your own HIV. If I'm broke down and crying when I tell you, you're gonna break down and cry.
Exactly.
But if I'm someone that's coming to you and telling it to you with some knowledge, with some facts, with education, then I'm giving you something, and you're gonna accept it and receive it a lot better than if I was a broken woman. You want to do it with other people around. You want to do it in a public place. I often talk to women and I tell them, before you get into a relationship with someone, talk about HIV with them. You know, talk about it. If you say, well, what do you think about HIV? And they say, oh, I hate people with HIV.
Right.
And if I saw somebody with HIV, I would slap them or something. Then you know that's not the person for you. You also, if it's someone that you care about and you don't know your status and you don't know their status, get tested together. You know, I'm not in a relationship. I'm not looking for someone, but if someone comes into my life, if Mr. Right comes into my life, y'all already know. Y'all already know. But I'm so open with my status that they'll come into my life knowing that I'm HIV positive.
So tell me, how do you guys keep your partners healthy? How are your relationships?
Oh, my guy is absolutely amazing. He learned as much as he could about HIV before we started dating, and we have to talk about safer sex and make sure that I keep him safe. And by me adhering to my medication, I can keep my viral load undetectable, which reduces my risk of transmitting it to him, and we also practice safe sex.
I found the love of my life, my wife. We've been together for 9 years. She is HIV negative, and it showed me that what a healthy relationship was. We're there to support each other and to continue to grow together.
And Michelle, what about you?
We have open discussions about, you know, our sex life. And again, me taking my medications as well, so I can continue to have an undetectable viral load so that I won't be able to transmit the virus to him. We've also talked about him taking PrEP, and he has gotten the information that he needs to facilitate that if that's something that he chooses to do.
Gina, can you tell us a little bit more about what PrEP is?
PrEP is pre-exposure prophylaxis. It's a once-a-day pill that a negative person can take who is in a relationship with a positive. It's like birth control pills. You know, birth control pills keep us from getting pregnant. PrEP keeps you from getting HIV.
I've been living with HIV for almost 20 years. I choose today to be the best I can be. I choose to live my life outside of the diagnosis of HIV. HIV is a very small facet of my life and does not have to dictate the outcome of my life. I got things to do, people to see, and places to go. That's right.
That touches right on the other thing I was going to ask about how you maintain, you're in such a great place. Mm-hmm. And I know, Gina, you mentioned that you're in therapy. What kinds of things do you do to keep yourself in that headspace of, you know, living well, being in the moment?
Well, first I take care of myself. I eat very healthy. I am very adherent to my medication. I try to live, I would say, as normal of a life that I can live.
What advice would you give to family or friends? How can they be supportive?
I understand that it is a very hard news to get, but you know, with new treatments, there is hope. They should have compassion and empathy. We could live long, productive lives if we do what we're supposed to do. We're just human beings that happen to have the condition of HIV.
And Linnea, I know you're in sort of a, certainly with the intimate partner violence piece, I mean, you're in a new space in that you just have this,
in the middle of it.
Yeah, so how are you doing? How are you managing taking care of your health and staying strong throughout the process?
Trying not to cry right now because I'm not, and it's not okay.
Right.
I'm not there yet.
Okay.
And I'm working on getting there.
You're in the process.
It's a process, and it's okay. It's okay that I'm not there yet, because that doesn't mean it's not coming. And I see it looking in the eyes of these beautiful women around me that it's possible. I needed to be here. And I really feel like I needed to hear these stories and get that hope. Now that I have my baby, and I know she needs me, I pray. I pray every day. And I ask God to provide me with the strength and the courage and the wisdom that I need to protect that child and make sure she's okay and that she doesn't see mommy broken. And that when she does see mommy broken, mommy's able to explain that to her and let her know it's okay and it's gonna get better. And I mean, like I said, I'm not there yet. I'm still trying to figure out how to be okay every day and just get past the stress of everything, but I understand it's a part of my growth and I accept it.
That's great. You will get there. Yes, you will. You guys are all, again, I keep saying it over and over again, but I'm so inspired by all of you, even as we are in process working through everything that we're going through. You guys are amazing women. I really appreciate you sharing your stories, some of the difficulties that you've been through, but also the triumphs that you have been through. So thank you guys very much for a wonderful conversation.
Thank you.